are now live. Y'all get in here. I have a very special guest coming on tonight. Near and dear to my heart. So y'all come on in. We're going live for day 4. And yeah. Climb on in here, y'all. Let me see. I might have to send this out. Let's see where everybody is at. My sister just entered the building. Hey, sis. I'm here. I was going to try to go live on Facebook as well, but it's not working, so I'm not even gonna fool with it. Everybody should be over here on my Instagram following me anyways. So, alright, y'all. Let me send this out to a few people real quick so we can get some viewership up. I'll let people know. That we are going live right now. Okay, send it out. How is everybody doing? When you get in here, type in where you tuning in from. Righty. All right, beautiful people. As you guys know, we are going through my 14-day health and wealth challenge. Hey, brother.
Hello, dear.
Okay, I'm going to do the intro. I'm starting over. I got excited. I love the background, too. As you guys know, we are going through my 14-day health and wealth challenge. And tonight we have a very special guest, my big brother, Pastor Malone. Welcome.
Hello.
So I wanted to bring you on because I wanted to definitely talk about fasting and how it pertains to your health, but even more important, your spiritual, how it opens things up and your faith and all of that as it pertains to your health as well. So I thought you would be the perfect person for that because I know you're going through your health journey and you've been looking good, losing weight, getting in shape and all that jazz. So you're the perfect person. But can you tell us about yourself and your journey with faith, health, and wealth?
Journey with faith, health, and wealth.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Damon Malone. Basically from Huachica City, Arizona. And growing up, we had a very unhealthy relationship with food. Sometimes there was high food scarcity, and then when we did have an abundance of food, it was oftentimes not very healthy. So I can confidently say this now, but I developed an addiction to food, an addiction to the joys that food brought. And so, growing up in a strong faith-based tradition, fasting was something that we often did. We fasted 3 days regularly. We would go on week-long fast where you would just drink water during certain periods of time, or you would just you would eat at a certain period of time. And fasting was just something that was a common thing for us. And largely when I was younger, fasting was more just to do what the grown folks was doing, because I was one of the few kids that was with them. But after you get through fasting, when you're eating as unhealthy as possible, you don't get any of the physical benefits of fasting. So I've always had the ability to fast well, but then when I would break, I would eat like a starving pig. So my journey with food has been a tumultuous one. I've been an emotional eater, so I've always been somebody who, and when we hear emotional eater, we often think, well, when you feel bad, that's when you eat the most. When you feel sad, when you feel upset, when you feel frustrated, you eat. But the truth is, emotional eaters eat no matter what the emotion is.
Hmm.
If your emotion is happiness, well, let's go get something to eat to celebrate feeling happy. If you're
Right.
feeling anxious, well, let me eat something to make me feel better about this anxiety. I mean, you get the dopamine rush no matter what. So emotional eaters just eat because. So that's what we ended up doing, and it's been a journey. But I feel like now the Lord has blessed to help me and my household have discipline as it pertains to eating.
Hmm. I love that. And we grew up the same, you know, so I can definitely relate with that emotional eating. Like, that's literally how we celebrate every little thing. Like, oh, let's go to this restaurant, let's go try this food. So I completely understand. But you did bring up discipline, which I love. How has physical discipline helped you when it comes to awakening your spiritual clarity and a deeper purpose?
Well, the thing about it is discipline is kind of the key to everything. Um, if you want something, you have to be disciplined. If you want to achieve anything, you have to be disciplined. And discipline, it literally extends to every facet of life that we experience as human beings. And if you can be disciplined, the Bible, there's a verse in the Bible where it says, they call it, it's called diligence in the Bible, but it's in Proverbs, I believe. And it says, if you see a man who's diligent with his work, he will sit before kings. And basically what that's saying is if you're somebody who is disciplined and you're willing to stick to something and you're willing to be dedicated to something, that discipline will take you to great places. And so when you apply that to fasting, fasting is simply just discipline. It's bringing your body unto discipline of the mind, discipline of the spirit. And if you're willing to bring your mind under subjection and your body under subjection, you'll be able to, as the scripture says, sit before kings. But it'll take you to higher places. Essentially, is what I'm saying. If you can discipline yourself, it'll take you to higher places.
Right. I love that. If you are diligent in your work, you will sit before kings. Everybody listening, I hope y'all wrote that down because I definitely did. Um, so, do you believe that spiritual clarity can lead to financial clarity?
So the thing of it is some theologians say that we are triune beings, but I don't want to say triune because that's a whole rabbit hole. But what I will say is this: what happens in your physical body, your natural body, tends to be what happens, or it mirrors the things that are taking place in your spiritual body. And your natural body also tends to mirror things that are going on in your mental. And so if you are working towards clarity in any area, if you're working towards true pureness and what we have coined as holiness, what in the church we've called holiness, if you're moving towards that place of clarity, pureness, uh, it will reflect in all areas of your life. So if I'm diligent again in being upright, clean, treating people right, treating myself right, treating my mind right, that will spill over into my finances. It will spill over into every aspect of life because if I'm diligent in doing that which is right will be diligent with me.
Woo!
So it can deal if we continue to try to be clear in our spirit, treat everybody right, do things right, love purely, love genuinely. There's no way that the financial side can't come with it. The economic side can't come with it. If you're trying every day to be the best version of yourself, whether it be going to the gym, whether it be the way you're eating, whether it be your abstinence from these things, abstinence from things of your flesh, if you're trying every day to be as pure and as clean as you can be, it is inevitable that it will carry over into your financial life.
Yes, I love that. Bars, talk that sass. You know, talk that sass. So, like you said, it's inevitable that it will overflow because clearing the body will also help you to clear the mind, and everything else just kind of goes and flows with it. So that's why it's so important. um I was telling everybody who I've been doing these lives with, the reason why I am doing this challenge is because I'm finding the very same patterns that are happening in my health are also happening in my finances. I'll be,
Mhm.
doing it, going strong, money flowing in the gym, and then I'll just stop, and then
Right.
my on. And then, so I can see that they are tied. They go hand in hand. But it all goes hand in hand. I have a friend named Spin, and he talks about the five better B's: better belly, better brain, better body, better business, better bank. All of those things just flow in and tie in together. So yeah, I love that spillover effect, where if you work on one thing diligently, then everything else will just have to flow.
Well, and if
Um,
you'll allow me, I want to speak to that too. One of the
yeah.
things we tend to do, I was talking to somebody just recently. One of the things we tend to do is we, especially in this society, we tend to be very disjointed, and we don't have a singular focused mind. And that can be dangerous, because you're not dedicated to anything and you're not really diligent with one thing. And our society has kind of taught us that we can be multitaskers in every area of our life. And the truth is that makes us very, how do I say it? We don't become excellent at anything that we're doing. If we're too multifaceted, it becomes very easy for us to be distracted. Even when we're talking about food, one of the beautiful things about fasting is it takes away a huge element from your life, something that you spend a lot of your energy on. Even though we live in a society where food is just readily available, we're not hunter gatherers anymore. We're not in places where you have to wait hours to get food anymore. We're not those kind of people, but we still spend a great portion of our mind, our energy, our life, and our finances on food. And what that causes us to do is be distracted. And the beauty of fasting is the time that we would dedicate to some of these other avenues, we can dedicate it more succinctly on something else, more poignantly on one other thing. And that's what makes fasting such a powerful thing for the spiritual man,
Hmm.
because where you would normally spend an hour, whether you be prepping for food, deciding what you want to eat, going to the restaurant, whatever the case may be, picking up takeout, all the other stuff, that same amount of time you're able to dedicate it to something else. And
Hmm.
in our spiritual tradition, um, the thing that you do in those times is those are your times to pray. Those are your times to give honor to God. Those are your times to meditate on the word. And I've often told people in the ministry, when you get the hunger pain, that's not a time for you to lament. That's not a time for you to say, "Oh man, I'm in so much pain. I can't believe I'm fasting. Here I go fasting again." That's a time to praise. That's a time to focus your mind on the scriptures, to thank Jesus for what he's done for you, how he suffered. He fasted for 40 days for you on your behalf. So this is a good opportunity for you to focus your mind on spiritual things where otherwise you would be distracted. So I just
Mm.
wanted to put that out there.
No, that was a really good point. Um, how do you respond when someone says that I want to be wealthy, but money and faith don't mix?
So I want to be wealthy, but money and face don't mix. So I have
Because,
a
oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I feel like a lot of times in church or in different religions, people think poor is being close to God, or being poor is being Christ like, or like, they talk up being poor. Like, I ain't never had nothing this whole time and whatever, but they think that that's, like what's right. They think being righteous is also being poor. And like I said, the faith and money don't mix.
Okay, so I think I'll answer it in two different ways. First, I'll talk about a principle of success.
Okay.
Me and some thinkers, some thinker friends of mine got together one time because we really wanted to understand and define what success means. And obviously, you can look into a dictionary, or you can look in, different Google and all that kind of stuff, and draw your own conclusion about what you think success means. But what we came to after much deliberation is we thought of success as kind of like a triangle, right? Success is you have these 3 points and you have to have them in balance in order for you to have success. And the first thing, not necessarily in any particular order, But the first thing is you have to have achievements that are based in reality. And what that means is, like, sometimes we have achievements that aren't necessarily reality based. And what I mean by that is we make ourselves believe something about ourselves that's not true. It's okay to manifest something. It's okay, as we say in our religious tradition, to prophesy according to the proportion of your faith, or speak those things that are not as though they were. Those things are okay. It's okay to do that. But if you're acting as though you are something that you are not, you're actually operating in delusion, and you can't be successful. So you have to have achievements that are based in reality. In other words, you do something, you attain something, you achieve something that is tangible, something that is visible, something that is true. For instance, if you go to college and you get a degree, that's something that is tangible, true. It is witnessed. It is verifiable. That is that is an achievement that is based in reality.
Mm-hmm.
You just going to college but actually not completing it is not an achievement based in reality. Yes, you learned something. Yes, you got something out of it, but it is not an achievement. It is just you having done something. So achievement based in reality. The second thing you have to have is a positive mindset. It's almost impossible to be successful and not have a positive mindset, not have an outlook of optimism. Now, mind you, there are people who we may consider to be successful that in actuality aren't successful. They just have a lot because they don't have a positive mindset. Positive mindset is everything to true success, because without a positive mindset, you can't get the third one. And the third one is contentment and or peace. Contentment and or peace. If you have that triangle of peace, positive mindset, and achievements based in reality, you have then achieved success. You have attained success. So the reason I said all that to answer your question is this. The truth is, it is impossible for many of the people that you were referring to have their faith, or to have spiritual things, faith in God, and have those things, because they don't understand what success means. They can't have true devotion to God or to their higher being or to their higher source and have money, because to them success looks like something other than what success may look like to you or me. And again, I say that for this reason. In their mind, they may be living a successful life, even though somebody like me or you may look at it and say, I don't want to live that way, because they have contentment, they have achievements based in reality, and they have a positive mindset. Um, I'll say this, though, to answer your question directly. I feel as though, for me, that's the reason I went through that whole epilogue before. For me,
Mm-hmm.
I feel as though to be successful, I must be financially stable, financially well off, spiritually stable, spiritually well off, and content with where God has me in whatever state that I'm in. Um, the idea that people believe that they cannot have finances or be well off and really have faith in God stems from the ideology that if you are in love with money, or you in love with wealth, or you're in love with riches, it is going to take you away from your relationship with your higher being. And of a truth, that is a fact. If you are in love with money, if you are in love with your wealth, in love with your finances, you are going to serve those things. You are going to give yourself wholly over to those things. But if you realize that your wealth, your money, and all those things are just mechanisms and tools that help you live a life that you can be free of mind, free of body, and free from ailments. If you use it as the tools that it was meant to be, there is no problem. Be a billionaire and still hold on to your higher faith. But many of us cannot have that strong balance between my faith is still strong, my belief system is still grounded and rooted in truth, and I also have wealth and finances.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't keep that balance, then it's probably good for you to stay poor.
Right. Right. Peace, y'all. Everybody who just came in, y'all drop some gems in the chat. She said divine abundance. Yes, ma'am. Also do me a favor, share this live to at least 3 people so we can get some more people in here and drop some gems in the chat because he's talking good bars. Okay. And I hope y'all are taking notes, right? He talked about success and he talked about the triangle. There's 3 moving pieces. The first one is achievements based in reality. The second one is a positive mindset, which is really important. Oh, and he got, yep, positive mindset, which is really important, and contentment and or peace. That's what true success is. All right. So, what is a practical way someone can begin fasting, not just from food, but from other things, other distractions like the phone or the TV? What are some practical ways that someone can begin fasting?
So the I look, I did some research just to double check to make sure the way I believe is accurate, and I took some notes. And the the definition of fasting is actually the voluntary absence of food or drink or both for a specific period of time. But from the spiritual tradition that we espouse, um, fasting is really the mortifying. The Bible says to mortify the deeds of the flesh. And what that basically means is that you're bringing your body, your desires under subjection to what in our case we would call it the spirit, but you bring it under subjection to your will, to the thing that you want more, your higher purpose, your higher function. And the reality of it is if you're willing to mortify and or bring your body or your faculties under subjection in any area, you're essentially fasting from it. uh, Abstinence is a fast. If you decide that, you know what, I'm going to lock it down, I'm not going to be with anybody until I get married or whatever, that is essentially a fast, and it's an honorable thing, and it does wonders for the body. If you're having a hard time getting into fasting, one of the things that I tell people to do, and again, this is not a traditional fast, because a fast in the traditional sense is abstaining from food or drink. But if you just want to bring your mind or your body under subjection, turn off all your social media for 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That if you want just a real good practical, if you're somebody who likes social media, if you're
Yep.
not somebody who regularly gets on social media or anything like that, that may not be effective for you. But if you're somebody who watches TV, don't do it for 24 hours and just see how much time frees up.
Mm-hmm.
If you're somebody who likes to read novels, don't do it for 24 hours and just see how your I keep wanting to go to the spiritual side. But just see how your mind, your emotions change because you have the ability to refocus on something else. You have the ability to put that energy and that diligence into something else. The beautiful thing about fasting, and I mentioned it before, is it frees up a lot of time that we would otherwise spend on things that may be less fruitful, and we're able to devote it to something else. So you literally can fast from just about anything that you enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that gives you that dopamine rush. If you're somebody who I don't want to say nothing weird, but if you're so, and this sounds crazy, but if you're somebody who likes going on a 3 mile jog in the morning, you say, well, why would you fast from that? Because then it gives you that same energy and time you would normally spend on that 3 mile jog. You
Mm-hmm.
can devote it to something else for that period of time. And if you're willing to do that and be diligent with it, it can cause amazing changes for your life.
Right, right. I love that. Um, and so, what role does gratitude and prayer play when building your health and wealth?
So gratitude is everything in my mind. It's,
Yeah.
it's, it's everything. Um, because the reality of it is we are dependent beings, and we try to act as though we are not. We try to act as though we are so self-sufficient, and I'm a boss, and I can take care of it myself, and all that other stuff. But the reality is we are dependent on somebody else for just about everything we do. I didn't pave the roads, so I'm dependent on the guys who do that. I didn't build a car. I'm dependent on them. I don't generate electricity. I don't know how to make a light bulb. I mean, everything that is in our life is a product of somebody else's effort, is a product of somebody else's genius.
Mm-hmm.
And to go through life with this kind of lack of gratitude and real understanding of just who we are and where we fit in. And I don't want to say this to degrade people, but just how insignificant we all really are in the grander scheme of everything.
Mm-hmm.
You begin to think about, man, it is so wonderful that I'm alive. It is so wonderful that I have the ability to enjoy all these wonderful things, the time that I live in, the era that I live in, the abilities that I have. The fact that we can even have this conversation and we're on different sides of the city. Everything that is around us, everything that we experience, we should be grateful for. We should be grateful for every person that we see, even if we like the way they're dressed or they don't. We should have the attitude, because it'll help you really get a sense of what it costs to live. Because you're talking about how that flows over into wealth. There is a cost to our life, not just the time we spend at our jobs to generate finances to pay for the things we want, but somebody else, somewhere else in the world, struggled, worked hard, bled and sweat and used their genius to bring all the things that we have that are normal for us in our day. Everything is hanging on the wall, the guitar, the bass. Somebody brought it into being. So I have to be grateful for that and thankful for that. And with that thought process in my mind, I know that I need to also produce something for others.
Mm-hmm.
If I can look at the world from the standpoint that, man, so many have poured out their genius, their energy, their time to make my life be this great, to make my life be this wonderful, I have to pour out all that I have in order to pay it forward. And when you are willing to have a mindset of gratitude, to pay it forward, to pour out, wealth has to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're giving your all. You're pouring out the beauty that's within you. You're pouring out the love that's within you and the genius that's within you. And when you pour that out in your community, when you pour that out in your friend circles, when you're generous with your time, your energy, when you're generous with your finances, I don't want to say the universe, but the laws that God has established in the universe dictates that goodness and mercy shall follow you.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to come back to you because that is the law that God put on the earth. So it's going to come back. Without gratitude, without an understanding of who and what you are, you won't properly seed. And without putting out proper seeds, you won't get proper fruit back.
Right. Ooh, I love that. Gratitude is the attitude, y'all. I hope you guys are taking notes. Write all of this down. I got so many. Y'all see I'm taking notes. Atti- Gratitude is the attitude. To everybody who just popped in, you guys make sure you share this live with at least 3 people. Drop some gems in the chat. And we are almost about to go ahead and wrap it up. My next question for you is, can you share a moment in your life where fasting has helped open up a door to something completely unexpected, whether it be spiritual or material?
I can think of several instances. Um, well, I'll tell you this, and maybe this might be a little too personal. I struggled, again, when I was in my formative years, when I was younger, with a lot of self-hatred, a lot of um, we didn't label things when I was young, and now we can look back and say, "Oh, that was depression." When I was
Right.
a kid, it was just like, "You better pray, you better go in the yard and do something." But I struggled a lot with great depression, self-hatred, frustration, just so many negative things. And I remember when I was 16, and I was crying out to God, and I was telling him, I was at our church, our home church, and I had prayed for like an hour, like just basically begging God for so many things and praying to God for so many things. And I didn't think God heard me after fasting. And, I was still in high school. So I'm in high school, not eating lunch. Lunch was one of the healthier meals, which was still terrible, but one of the healthier meals that we have. I wouldn't eat lunch, and I'm fasting and I'm praying and I'm begging God and I'm doing all these things to change things for me. And I felt like God didn't hear me. I felt like I didn't matter to him or anybody else. Now I look back and I realize, and matter of fact, I've told my wife this so many times. Every single thing that I prayed to God for in that season, He brought to pass. Every single thing in that season of my life. Now, it didn't come the ways that I wanted it to come. It
Mhm.
certainly didn't come in the time that I wanted it to come. But everything that I am now is because of that fasting and that praying that took place. And mind you, I said I was 16, but this took place over longer than a week, where I was going down to our church and praying for hours and asking God over and over again and begging him. I told him about how I felt like I was called to the ministry and I wanted to be a minister. I'm a minister. I was telling him who I wanted to marry, and she's my wife now. I was telling him, I wanted to buy a house by this time. I bought the house before that. Everything that I talked to the Lord about on that day, some
Mhm.
things about my mind. I was telling him I want to be out of depression. I want to be happy. I want to be content with my life. Now I'm looking back and I'm like, man, I haven't been depressed, and I haven't been. God has been so good. And
Mhm.
so for me, the discipline of that season of my life literally formed me into, not that I'm so great or anything, but it formed me into the man of God that God has allowed me to be today because of that season of fasting, because of that season of brokenness. God brings, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be preaching, but anyways,
No, go ahead. Do you? That's why.
God uses our brokenness to
Mhm.
bring our blessings. Because if it wasn't for that period of brokenness, I would have never dedicated that time to him. I would have never went before his throne and cried out to him and poured out my soul to him and was honest. Most of the time, we're not even honest with God. We're not honest with our prayers. We try to act as though God doesn't know the reality of who we are. So we're not honest. We'll go to God and say, Lord, I want you to just open up the windows of heaven for me. I want you just to bless me. We try to manifest good things. I'm manifesting good things to come to me, good things to come to me, good things. And instead of us being honest and genuine about what the thing is we want, and
Yeah.
so good things come to us all the time, and we don't identify them. And we think like, man, the universe is against us, the God's against us, the devil's against me, everything is against me. Well, you just ask for good things. Well,
Right.
there's all kinds of good things that come your way. To
Mm.
open up the windows. It's been raining all week. What are you talking about? The windows have been open. God's looking at us like, what? I gave you everything you asked for. But if you could be honest and say, Lord, I'm really struggling with addiction right now. I'm really struggling with self-doubt. I,
Mm.
I, Tell, I hate myself. Lord, I'm going to go into this fast to mortify the deeds of my flesh, to mortify the deeds of my mind, to bring it all into subjection because I really hate who I am. And I'm doing this because I need your help. And I promise you things will change. But
Mm.
we go into it with an attitude that just this, how do I say it? Um, I don't want to say it in the way I'm thinking because it might be degrading to somebody. But we go into it with just our hoping that our good thoughts will manifest what we want. And the truth is we have to be honest with ourselves and honest with our higher power. And if we're willing to do that, identifying the problem will help us change the problem.
Yes. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. So, I'm going to do a quick little recap before we ask our final questions. And I thank you again for being here. This means so much to me.
Of course.
So, just to recap, you guys, for all of the new people who just came, and I just seen two new people come in. Hello, welcome. Being diligent in your work will have you sitting before kings. It'll put you in high places. Okay. Success can be thought of like a triangle through three parts. The first one is achievements based in reality. The second one is a positive mindset. And the third one is contentment and or peace. This is what success looks like. Okay? If you are struggling with your fasting and you just need a practical way to get started, whatever it is that you need to fast from, whether it's traditional or non traditional, start with 24 hours and then see where that takes you. Just whatever it is that you want to fast from. Like if it's a jog, if it's reading novels, whatever, start 24 hours and then see where that takes you. Okay? When you are fasting, it is best to be honest with God and with yourself. It is best to just open your heart and be honest. Okay? Alrighty. What would you say to someone who is feeling spiritually tired, physically stuck, or financially frustrated?
Uh, find something. Find something that, again, back to the things we were talking about. Find something that you can be diligent with.
Mm-hmm.
That that can. How do I want be an outlet for you?
Mm-hmm.
There are things that you are passionate about that right now they may seem as though they are insignificant and unimportant in your life. But if you really were diligent in that thing, you do not know the doors that could be opened if you really dedicated yourself to that thing. And not only financially, because that's the thing we always kind of focus on, is, well, I can make money on this, but you can imagine the amount of peace that some of these things can bring to you. I'll speak for myself. I'm a sportsman. I love to go and to do target shooting and things like that. I'm 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 not a professional. I don't do YouTubes. I don't the YouTube channels. I don't go to competitions or anything like that. But just the peace in doing the thing that I love so much, just being out there, letting it go, it 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 invigorates me in a way that few other things do. So find that thing. Find that thing, whether it be meditation, and I would highly recommend when you meditate, meditate on something that is peaceful. Uh, a lot of times when you hear meditation, people say just clear your mind and all that stuff. Cool, if that's the way you want to do it. But I often will read like the scripture we mentioned just before. Meditate on that scripture. See how it can apply to you. How am I diligent, Lord? Help me to be diligent. I need to be diligent. Diligent. Take me before kings. Meditate on those type of things. Whether it be meditation, whether it be songwriting, whether it be journaling, whatever it may be diligent in that thing. Put your energy into it. Put your focus on it, and it will change all aspects of your life.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, that's all the questions. Could you please tell the people where they can find you and follow you?
Oh man, you can follow me on Facebook. We have a Facebook page called Promised Land Ministries. On YouTube is a YouTube channel called What Shall We Say Then. Pretty much those are the two platforms where you'll get all your updates at. What Shall We Say Then on YouTube, and Promised Land Ministries on Facebooks.
Facebook. All right, y'all. Thank you so much, brother, for joining. And I hope you guys enjoyed this live. All
I
right.
did.
Yeah, I did too. Have an amazing rest of your night. I'll
You
talk
too.
to you. All right.